Hey everybody, today's book summary is on Death by Meeting. This is a leadership fable by Patrick Lencioni, and it's all about meetings. So in this story, the leadership team is used to not accomplishing anything big during company meetings. They know that the most important conversations happen in the boss's office, Casey. Casey's the boss in this story. The most important conversations happen in his office. They don't happen in meetings. Meetings are boring. Meetings suck. Everybody hates going to meetings. They view it as a waste of time. They know that when they want to get stuff done, it's these one-on-one conversations with closed doors, and that's where the boss really shines. And it made me think, boy, I hope that's not how I do things. I don't know. I hope not. Um, Something that's brought up a lot in this book is movies and how they can hold our attention. We can sit there for a couple of hours and we're engaged, but we don't feel the same way towards meetings. And something that is repeated over and over in this book, what's the big difference between meetings and movies? Conflict. The author is a huge proponent of having conflict in your meetings. He says that this is important. If you want to make your meetings engaging and meaningful and productive, you need to have conflict. And let's see, I'll come back to that in a sec. The first 10 minutes of meetings are the most important part. This is where the leader needs to set the stage. They need to suck people in. You need to kind of have a reason for why this is important. You need to set it all up right at the beginning of a meeting. Like, hey, this is what's going on. We've got this, and well, I don't know where I'm going with that, but you get my point. Throughout the meetings, the leader needs to be constantly mining for conflict. They need to keep questioning people's ideas. They need to draw out the people who are more inclined to sit and ruminate on things, who don't want to verbalize how they're feeling, who try to avoid conflict. The leader's job is to pull those people in and get them to share what they're thinking and how they're feeling about things. And it means looking for buried, hidden, and undiscussed conflict. During meetings, groups will rarely reach consensus, and they don't need to. The point is that people need to discuss things. They need to argue about them. They need to work through all the different angles. And in the end, everybody needs to come to an agreement. It's not the leader saying, all right, this is what we're doing in the very end, but it's the group coming to a consensus. Now, if it's kind of a tiebreaker, then the leader will make a decision. But it's everybody coming to an agreement when it's all said and done, and then leaving that meeting standing behind it. Everybody needs to be unified and on the same page, and they need to support it once it's all done. That is of critical importance. This author recommends 4 different types of meetings. Number 1 would be the daily check-in. This is a team meeting with all the leadership team or whomever, and it would be basically a 5-minute meeting. Just quick check-in. Where are we at? You don't discuss anything strategic or any of that. It's just a quick check-in. The next would be having weekly tactical meetings, and I think this would basically be going over our scorecards, checking in, seeing where we're at with what we're trying to do to achieve our goals. And then monthly strategic meetings. These would be kind of planning out what's going to happen. And it's important to not take one meeting topic and cover it during another. And what do I mean? It means that if you've got weekly sales numbers or the number of calls you made or the number of home inspections we've done per week, you're not going to be discussing that at strategic meetings. Strategic meetings are about planning strategy, and vice versa. You don't strategize during tactical meetings. You need to really set the goal of meetings ahead of time, let everybody know what to expect. The author also recommends doing a quarterly offsite review, and the offsite review should be far enough away so that people don't feel as though they need to come back to work. Definitely when we say coming back to work, it's not deep work like we talked about in the last book. This is coming back to checking their emails and phone calls and busy work, day-to-day activities. It needs to be far enough away where people get away from that, but it shouldn't be so far away that you're distracted by what's going on in, say, Aruba, and you don't want to work, you want to be having fun sitting at the ocean or something like that. There's got to be a balance there. And lastly, meetings are boring when they lack conflict and drama. I'm kind of repeating this here, but again, this was the biggest takeaway that I got from this book, is that it is the leader's job to evoke conflict, and the participants need to be jolted during the first 10 minutes of the meeting, and the whole group there needs to discuss stuff. So those were my takeaways. That's it. That concludes my summary of Death by Meeting.